Welcome back. The Africa Hospitality and Investment Forum, the AHIF, is set to take place in Windhoek, Namibia from June 25th to 27th, 2024 at the Mövenpick Hotel. The event is expected to attract more than 300 international delegates and will be officially opened by Her Excellency Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, the Vice President of the Republic of Namibia, on Wednesday, the 26th of June. To gain insight into the NIPDP's role in hosting this significant event, we have the opportunity now to speak with Ms. Catherine Shipushu, the Senior Manager of Marketing, Branding and Communications at the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board. Catherine, good evening and thank you so much for joining us here on the Daily Roundup. Welcome.
Good evening, Nina. Good evening to all the viewers. Thank you so much for having me on the Daily Roundup.
Catherine, just to start with, perhaps you can talk to us about the NIPDP's involvement in bringing the Africa Hospitality and Investment Forum to Namibia.
So our journey with the Africa, with the AHIF, to cut it short, really started about a year ago, over a year ago, when on behalf of Namibia, we facilitated the bid to host this event in Namibia, in the first time, of course, for Southern Africa, which we successfully did. And in Kenya last year, Namibia was then announced as the host for the 2024 edition, making us the first country in SADC to host this event. So our role really is the host partner in Namibia. So we are working with a convener, which is the bench, to make sure that, first of all, Namibia puts her best foot forward, that we put together an event of a high caliber, looking at the delegates that we are expecting or that have actually already arrived in Namibia, and to really make sure that Namibia draws the most value or maximum value from hosting an event of this nature.
And talk to us about what the key objectives are for the NIPDP in hosting this event, so Catherine.
So if you look at really what is involved in putting an event of this nature together, there are immediate economic benefits for a host country such as Namibia. And of course, there are long-term economic benefits. So in the short term, having over almost 500 people convene in a town, a city like Windhoek, means that there's an increased demand for hotel accommodation, which means, our occupancy rates are quite high during this time. There's an increased demand for other services such as restaurants, such as transport. And if you look at, for example, the creative industry is heavily involved in making sure that the event there's production, there's audio that is required, there's interviews that are required, there's media that is required. So there's a lot of immediate economic benefits. And of course, these people are here, and most of them for the first time here in Namibia and in Windhoek, and they're spending money in the local economy. So we're stimulating economic activity already within the 3 days or 4 days that we're hosting this conference. And then, if you look at, the delegates are people first. They're going to need to eat somewhere. They're going to do their hair, for example. They need entertainment. So, and all of these are services that are directly benefiting from Windhoek hosting this event. Now, in the long term, as a country, one of our strategies is to position ourselves as a MICE destination. So what this means in simple terms is that we would want Namibia to be a place, a country where big events are held on a monthly, on a weekly basis. If you look at Africa, for example, one of the countries that does it so well is Rwanda. They're attracting all the big events to their country. Mm-hmm. And of course, when you have a big event on a monthly basis, all the services that I've just mentioned, they become sort of a regular on demand, right? So there's always, money circulating in the economy, foreign currency circulating in the economy. And so for us, hosting this event is really also about Namibia wanting to prove her capacity to be a MICE destination, to be a premium tourism destination, but also in the long term, we want to drive investments into the hospitality industry, right, and thereby creating direct and indirect jobs for our people.
On that note, Catherine, talk to us about how AHIF envisages to contribute to the Namibian tourism and hospitality sector.
So if we look at, Nina, the caliber of the delegates that we have in Namibia currently, the people we have in the room, we are talking about really senior level officials from the biggest brands in hospitality in the world. And I can mention a few names. The Radisson Hotel Group is here. Casada, which now owns Mercure and Mövenpick, they are here. Club Met, that's a popular name. All these names are here in Namibia. So these are investors. Some of them are looking to expand their portfolios. And so they're looking at the next investment, where can they build the next hotel, for example, and that location or that destination could be Namibia. We also have financiers who are looking to fund projects. They've got, some extra cash lying around and they want to make their next big investment. And in Namibia itself, we have people who have projects that require funding. So AHIF is really bringing these two worlds together. It's the potential investor or it's somebody who needs funding to make their projects a reality. I think one of the best features that we've also included in this year's program is it's a youth masterclass. So on the last day of AHIF, we have gathered 141 students from different institutions in Namibia, the VTCs across the country, from Okakarava to Windhoek to Ongwediva to, I think, Ondangwa and many others. And we are giving them 2 hours of access to these great minds in a room. The session is called Ask Me Anything That's Related to Hospitality. Now, these are the students who are going to carry the sector forward or the industry forward in terms of hospitality. And if you imagine, as a young child in Namibia, the chance of you being in a room with the CEO of the Radisson Hotel Group is, it's maybe slim. So what AHIF is doing is really giving access to these young people to be able to network, to be able to learn from, to be able to experience being in a setting like this with all these great minds. So there are many benefits. For example, we've taken about 7 MSMEs from the art and curio industry, and they are selling their products right there at the hotel venue. Tomorrow, when we host our Namibia dinner at Drombos, they're going to be setting up kiosks right there where the delegates can come and they can directly buy from them. That's another way that we're giving access to our MSMEs, to these people who can support them and immediately see a return for their businesses. So there are many ways that really AHIF is contributing to our industry, hospitality industry, in the short term, in the mid-term, and then of course in the long term.
That's fantastic. Just very lastly, Catherine, perhaps talk to us about the benefits, long-term benefits that Namibia hopes to achieve by hosting this prestigious event.
Fantastic. So I think maybe one of the low-hanging fruits is just leveraging the presence of these delegates in Windhoek or in Namibia. So initially they are here as delegates for a conference or to a conference, and we're hoping that we're going to charm them with our beauty and our hospitality, and then we want them to come back as tourists, bringing their families, so driving tourism into the country. And then of course, as they are here, they're experiencing how Namibia does business, and then we want them to come back as investors in the country. So in 5 years' time, for example, we really want to look back at the legacy of this project and being able to say, that hotel or that establishment or that lodge was built in Windhoek or Kakarara or Ongwediva as a direct result of Namibia having hosted AHIF in 2024. And we're also looking at skills development, like I mentioned, the youth masterclass. What these students are going to learn in this masterclass on Thursday is going to carry them for the rest of their lives. And that's also part of the legacy that we are building through hosting an event like AHIF. And then, of course, in the long term, if we are successful, which we will be in hosting this event, we are also showing that Namibia is definitely ready to step up as a MICE destination in Africa, as a premium destination for tourism, and certainly as a viable and a credible investment destination on the continent.
Madam Catherine Chipushu, thank you so much for your time and joining us here on the Daily Roundup with Nina. All the best with the last preparations for the forum.
Thank you very much, Nina. We also hope to see you and your team at AHIF before it ends.
Thank you so much. That was Catherine Chipushu speaking to us, the Senior Manager of Marketing, Branding and Communications at the NIPDB, about the Africa Hospitality and Investment Forum set to take place from the 25th to the 27th right here in Windhoek. We'll be right back after this with some more conversations. Stay with us.